You're here, ready to go deeper, and that's exactly what we're about to do.
Yep.
Today, we're diving into a world that, well, it touches pretty much every digital interaction you have. Advanced Persistent Threat Protection.
APT.
Yeah.
The really sophisticated stuff.
Exactly. Think of it as this high-stakes game of cat and mouse happening behind the screens, protecting us from the really advanced cyber attacks.
Right. The ones that stick around.
Yeah. And our sources for this deep dive, they give us a pretty fascinating look at this crucial market.
They do. It's a complex landscape.
So our mission today, to really extract the essential insights. Who are the big players? What's driving this field? And ultimately, what does it all mean for, well, understanding the threats and how we defend against them?
Getting a handle on that whole evolving picture.
Precisely. And just to set the stage, think about this. In 2023, the market for APT protection was what? Around $7.1 billion.
Roughly, yeah.
By 2032, it's projected to just explode. We're talking nearly $32 trillion.
Trillion. Wow. That growth rate, the CAGR, over 20%.
Yeah, staggering, isn't it? It really tells you just how vital this whole area has become.
It absolutely underscores the increasing sophistication, the frequency of the attacks we're seeing. It's really not enough anymore to just react, is it?
No way.
Organizations are investing heavily in proactive measures, identifying, neutralizing these advanced threats before they do major damage. That's the core of APT protection, really.
Absolutely. Proactive is the key word. And when we talk about who's actually making these defenses, a few major names always pop up.
Right.
You might recognize, say, FireEye, Palo Alto Networks, Symantec, McAfee. They're big in cybersecurity generally.
Sure. Household names in the space.
But when we focus specifically on the companies manufacturing the core APT protection technologies, the source material points to a really interesting top 5.
Exactly. The sources highlight Cisco Systems, Microsoft Corporation, Palo Alto Networks, McAfee, LLC, and CrowdStrike. These seem to be the key manufacturing powerhouses right now.
The ones really building the tools.
Yeah, they're at the forefront, developing and deploying these advanced solutions designed specifically for these persistent threats.
Okay, great. Let's dive into this top tier then, starting with a tech giant that's been around the block a few times, Cisco Systems.
Founded way back 1984.
Right, based in San Jose. And Cisco's reach, it's huge, isn't it? Way beyond just security, telecommunications, massive networking infrastructure.
Oh yeah, the backbone for a lot of stuff.
But their cybersecurity arm is still a really significant part of their business. They tackle everything from advanced threat protection, cloud security, network security. So what's a key element of their approach? What makes them such a major player here?
Well, it's really noteworthy about Cisco, I think, is how they leverage that deep understanding of network infrastructure. It's baked into their security offerings.
Because they built the plumbing, basically.
Exactly. They have this inherent insight into how traffic flows, where anomalies might pop up. And their security products, they heavily integrate AI and machine learning, which lets them analyze just vast amounts of data, spotting subtle signs of sophisticated attacks. Plus, they have their SecureX platform.
Right. I saw that mentioned.
Yeah, it's designed to give this unified view across different security tools, automate responses, which is just critical when you're dealing with these persistent, sneaky threats.
That makes total sense. Securing the pipes they helped build. And financially, in 2023, Cisco's total revenue was, what, around $54 billion?
Yeah, huge numbers.
And their security segment chipped in about $3.6 billion of that, showing some real year-over-year growth, too.
Definitely growing.
Their estimated slice of this specific APT market is maybe around 15%. Puts them right in the thick of things.
Precisely. That established customer base, the sheer breadth of their security portfolio, it gives them a really strong, resilient position in this, very competitive landscape.
Okay.
Now let's pivot to another behemoth, Microsoft. Established 75, based up in Redmond.
Can't talk tech without talking Microsoft.
Right. Global force. Operating systems, cloud computing, AI, and cybersecurity is becoming, well, an increasingly critical part of their whole offering. What you see as their key advantages for APT protection?
Well, their sheer scale, for one. And the deep integration of security across their entire ecosystem. That's hard to ignore, isn't it?
It really is. It's everywhere.
Think about it. Microsoft Defender, built right into Windows. Azure Security Center protects their cloud stuff. Microsoft Sentinel for the SIEM side of things.
Security information and event management.
Yeah. And because their products are just so widely used, they have a massive amount of data feeding their AI and machine learning models.
The credible visibility.
Exactly, allowing them to spot threats across this vast landscape. It seems like that baked-in security and the power of their cloud infrastructure is a major, major strength.
Absolutely. And if you connect that to the bigger picture, Microsoft's strategy, it seems like it's really about providing that end-to-end security for the whole modern digital environment. Their estimated revenue from security solutions in 2023 was huge, around $20 billion.
20 billion just from security. Wow.
Yeah, and a big chunk of that is tied to their cloud offerings, naturally.
Yeah.
And their approximate market share in APT, around 25%, makes them a clear frontrunner.
25%, okay.
They're basically making security this fundamental layer of their entire tech stack.
Makes sense. Okay, moving on to a company that's maybe a bit more laser focused just on security, Palo Alto Networks.
Right? Newer company, relatively speaking, founded 2005, Santa Clara.
Yeah, and they really made a name for themselves with that innovative approach to network security, didn't they? Helping companies with secure digital transformations.
They did
Yeah.
kick things off with those next-generation firewalls.
What distinguishes them now, though, in the APT protection space?
Well, they've really shifted towards this platform-centric approach, which is fascinating. You've got Cortex, their AI-driven security operations platform,
Okay.
and Prisma, their cloud security suite. They're designed to work hand in glove, integrating threat intelligence with network, cloud, and endpoint security.
So a unified front.
Yeah, they're all about creating this comprehensive, tightly integrated security posture. Not just putting up walls, like you said earlier, but building a whole ecosystem.
Right, right. An ecosystem. And their financials seem to reflect that focus, too. In 2023, total revenue was around $6.9 billion.
Yep, about that.
With approximately $2 billion of that specifically linked to their APT protection solutions.
So a big chunk of their business.
Yeah. And their estimated market share is sitting around 12%. And they apparently attribute that, partly anyway, to the sophistication of their AI-driven threat detection and prevention.
That makes sense. That's a significant portion of their revenue, highlighting how much organizations value that specialized security expertise. While Microsoft and Cisco have these broader tech portfolios, Palo Alto Networks' dedicated focus lets them innovate really deeply in the cybersecurity space itself.
Good point. Specialization matters.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about a name many of us probably associate with antivirus software from, well, years back, McAfee.
Yes, McAfee. Established 87, also in San Jose now.
A globally recognized brand, right?
Yeah.
Broad range of security products, services. How do they fit into the APT protection picture today?
Well, McAfee has that long-established history, particularly in protecting endpoints. They bring a lot of experience. Their mVision infrastructure is a key component now.
mVision, okay.
It offers security management, data loss prevention, DLP, and, of course, advanced threat detection. They really seem to emphasize providing robust protection that's also relatively easy to manage and use.
Which can be a huge factor.
Definitely.
Right,
Especially
right.
for organizations that maybe don't have those massive dedicated security teams. Ease of use is a big selling point.
Makes sense. So 2023 revenue, around $3 billion total for them, with about $900 million coming from their APT protection offering.
Right.
Their estimated market share is around 7%. And it's interesting, the sources highlight their recent push into cloud-native security solutions, clearly recognizing where things are headed.
Absolutely. They have to adapt. While their market share in APT specifically might be smaller than some of the others we've discussed, that strong brand recognition and their wide array of products still make them a significant player, especially as they adapt those traditional strengths to this evolving cloud environment.
Gotcha. Okay, finally, in our top 5, we have CrowdStrike. Founded more recently, 2001, based in Sunnyvale.
Yep, relatively the new kid on the block compared to Cisco or McAfee.
But they've really gained a reputation, haven't they, for their modern, innovative approach, cyber attack response, threat intel, and especially endpoint security.
Oh, absolutely.
What makes them stand out in this crowded arena?
CrowdStrike really came onto the scene with a pretty disruptive approach, especially to endpoint detection and response, or EDR, largely through their Falcon platform. What's particularly compelling is its cloud-native architecture that allows for really rapid deployment, scalability, and their heavy reliance on AI and machine learning for real-time threat mitigation.
So speed and intelligence.
Exactly. They also have a very strong focus on providing actionable threat intelligence.
Yeah.
which makes them a valuable partner for organizations looking for that proactive, intelligence-driven defense.
Yeah.
Not just reacting, but anticipating.
Right. Agility, leveraging the cloud's power, and their financial success seems to reflect this innovation. 2023 total revenue, $2.4 billion,
Hmm.
with an estimated $1.2 billion of that attributed just to APT protection.
Though about half their business.
Yeah. Their rapid growth has given them an approximate 10% market share, largely fueled, it seems, by the effectiveness of that Falcon platform and just their success in winning over enterprise customers.
Yeah, their growth trajectory is really remarkable. It speaks volumes about the increasing demand for these nimble, cloud-based security solutions that can actually counter sophisticated threats effectively.
Yeah.
They've definitely established themselves as a leader in endpoint security, which is, a critical piece of the whole APT protection puzzle.
Okay, so that's a great overview of the top five. But as you said earlier, this is a competitive landscape. And our sources also highlight some emerging players, ones that could potentially challenge these established leaders.
Yeah, it's not static at all.
Let's talk about who's on the horizon. First up, Kaspersky Labs.
Kaspersky. Definitely a force to be reckoned with. They are known for really sophisticated threat detection capabilities.
From their research arm, right?
Exactly. Strong research, extensive global threat intelligence network. In regions where their brand still enjoys strong recognition and trust, they certainly have the potential to compete hard, maybe with players like CrowdStrike, especially given their comprehensive suite of security offerings.
So their deep dive into threat analysis, that mix of AI and human expertise, gives them a real edge in finding complex attacks.
It does seem to be a core strength.
Okay. Next on the list of emerging threats, Sophos.
Sophos. They've carved out a really significant space, often by offering solutions praised for being, well, user-friendly and cost-effective.
Appealing to maybe smaller businesses.
Particularly appealing to SMBs, yeah. But also their strong emphasis on integrating AI and machine learning, coupled with their synchronized security approach.
Synchronized security, what's that?
It's where their endpoint and network security products actually share threat information in real time. They talk to each other.
Ah, okay. Breaking down silos.
Exactly. It presents this compelling alternative to the often more complex, sometimes fragmented solutions from larger competitors. That integrated, simplified approach can be very attractive.
Yeah, that sounds incredibly efficient. Okay, another emerging player mentioned, CyberArk Software Ltd.
CyberArk. Now, they take a very specific but increasingly critical approach. Their focus is entirely on privileged access management, PM.
PM, so the admin accounts, the
Well,
really
yeah.
powerful ones.
Precisely. Securing those accounts that have the highest levels of access administrators, key service accounts, the keys to the kingdom, basically.
Right.
And as organizations increasingly recognize that compromised privileged accounts are often the gateway for major APT attacks, well, CyberArk's specialized expertise puts them in a really interesting position.
A potential disruptor.
Potentially, yeah. For broader security providers like, say, IBM or Microsoft, who might not have that same depth of focus specifically on PM. Plus, the rising awareness of insider threats also really plays to CyberArk's strengths.
That makes perfect sense. Guarding those critical access points is smart. Specialization as an advantage. Okay, and finally we have ForcePoint.
ForcePoint. They try to differentiate themselves with a more human-centric approach to cybersecurity.
Human-centric, how so?
They put a strong emphasis on understanding user behavior and intent to identify and prevent threats. It's less about just the technology, more about how people interact with it.
Interesting. Behavioral analysis.
Yeah, that combined with their robust data loss prevention DLP capabilities.
Stopping sensitive data leaking out.
Right. That offers a pretty unique value proposition. They have the potential to attract customers looking for more personalized, more proactive security measures that adapt by understanding that human element within the organization.
So it's clear that while the top five definitely hold significant market share, there's a lot of innovation, a lot of focused competition coming from these emerging players, isn't there?
Absolutely. Keeps everyone on their toes.
Now, thinking about that, if a new company wanted to enter this dynamic APT protection market, maybe try and take on these giants, what key factors do our sources suggest would be really critical for their success? How could they actually excel?
Well, the sources really emphasize several crucial areas for any newcomer. And first and foremost is the integration of artificial intelligence.
AI again? Can't get away from it.
You really can't.
Yeah.
In today's threat landscape, AI and machine learning, they're not optional anymore.
Yeah.
They are absolutely essential for advanced threat detection, for response.
Right.
New entrants have to demonstrate a sophisticated ability to analyze massive data sets, provide real-time threat intelligence, leverage behavioral analytics, all that stuff to identify those subtle indicators of APTs that traditional methods just miss.
Absolutely. Fight fire with fire, or AI with AI, I guess. What else is vital for companies trying to break in?
Customization and seamless integration are also paramount.
Yeah.
Organizations have really diverse IT environments, unique security challenges.
One size definitely doesn't fit all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So new companies that can offer APT protection solutions tailored to specific industries or even individual organizational needs, they'll have a significant advantage. And furthermore, ensuring those solutions can easily integrate with the existing security infrastructure, the IT systems already in place, that's crucial for adoption.
Yeah, no one wants to rip and replace everything if they don't have to. Makes complete sense. What about the financial side? The cost?
Competitive pricing and compelling value propositions. That's, of course, essential for any new entrant trying to disrupt an established market like this.
Got to make it attractive.
Right? Offering flexible pricing models that align with different budgets, clearly demonstrating a strong ROI, showing how your solution prevents costly breaches, minimizes disruption that's key to winning customers. They need to show they can deliver cutting-edge security, but maybe without that absolutely prohibitive price tag sometimes associated with the big players.
Right. Value is critical, especially with tight security budgets. And the final factor highlighted seems to be about, well, working with others. Collaboration.
Yeah, while the sources might not have explicitly used the term strategic alliances right there, the underlying message strongly suggests that strategic partnerships and collaborations are vital for new entrants.
Okay. How so?
Well, by teaming up with established tech providers, maybe other security vendors, even industry-specific organizations, newcomers can rapidly expand their reach, enhance their own capabilities, and crucially, build credibility in a really crowded marketplace.
Ah, leverage others' networks and trust.
Exactly. These partnerships can provide access to new customer segments, integrate complementary technologies, and just generally strengthen their overall market position much faster than going it alone.
Okay, so let's recap that. A strong focus on AI, the ability to customize and integrate smoothly, competitive pricing that really demonstrates value, and building smart partnerships. Those seem to be the critical ingredients for any new player hoping to make a real mark in this APT protection market.
Precisely. It's definitely a challenging space, but also potentially very rewarding for companies that can bring genuinely innovative and effective solutions to the table.
So, bringing it all together then, it's crystal clear that the market for advanced persistent threat protection isn't just substantial, it's experiencing this really rapid, significant growth.
Driven by those ever more sophisticated, ever more prevalent cyber attacks.
Yeah. And we've looked at the dominance of the top 5 manufacturers, Cisco, Microsoft, Palo Alto Networks, McAfee, and CrowdStrike, each bringing their own unique strengths, their own strategic approaches to this fight.
And we've also highlighted that potential for disruption from those emerging players like Kaspersky Labs, Sophos, CyberArk, ForcePoint, each maybe focusing on specific niches or leveraging different innovative technologies to challenge that established order.
Right. And for any new companies looking to jump into this highly competitive arena, that strategic focus we just talked about, integrating advanced AI, offering tailored and easily integrable solutions, providing competitive pricing with clear value, and forging those strategic partnerships, that's going to be absolutely essential for gaining traction and finding success.
It really is a constant state of innovation and adaptation, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's a cybersecurity arms race, effectively.
it truly is.
And understanding these market dynamics, it provides really invaluable insight into the ongoing efforts to secure our increasingly digital world,
Right.
whether you're just an individual concerned about your own online safety or maybe a leader responsible for protecting a large organization.
Indeed. It affects everyone. And on that note, here's maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to consider. Given this relentless evolution of cyber threats and the corresponding advancements we're seeing in defensive technologies, what do you think will be the next major paradigm shift? The next big change in how organizations approach protecting themselves from these sophisticated attacks?
Good question.
It's definitely a question worth pondering as this critical cybersecurity landscape just continues to evolve at breakneck speed. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.